You will see how to say the guy in a second, but the one here is just for a girl, because it ends with ka. And she's also a student, so how do you say a female student? Yeah, that's good. Let's say, я українка. Студентка. And then she introduces Jean. What does she say about him? Yeah, good job. So, Jean is my friend. Let's say, Jean mi друг. That's right. And as you can see, moja and me both mean my. But they are different because the gender is different. We will talk about this later today. So just remember, moja is my for a girl, like my female friend. And me is my for a male friend, or anything pretty much. Okay, and one more time, let's review all the pronouns that Ukrainian has. And we talked about them, so this time I would just say them in sorry. Okay, so now I will say the pronoun in English. Can you find it in Ukrainian? Okay, and then we'll make a note. So number one is going to be we. How do you say we in Ukrainian? Yeah, that's one here. So if you don't know yet, please write down next to it. Let's say мы. The next one is going to be I. How do you say I in Ukrainian? Yeah, that's the one. Let's say я. How do you say they in Ukrainian? That's good. It's just here. And let's say вони. Yeah, it means they. And then let's find he. How do you say he in Ukrainian? Yeah, that's good. Let's say він. That's he. Let's say you, just one person. You singular. Yeah, that's one. So one person. And what about she? Yeah, that's good. Let's say вона. And then let's choose you, but you guys, so plural. You plural. В. That's good. So it's you, but many people. So if I say you guys did well today, it's going to be вы super, which means like you're great. And the last one is going to be it. How do you say it in Ukrainian? Yeah, that's good. That's over here. And let's say воно. And if you wonder what these words mean on the sides, this one is однина, which means singular. Just like one, right? And over here you have množina, which means, plural, many things. So these are plurals, these are singulars. And I feel like you know many of them already. So we can move to this text to read, but since we just started and you still have lots of energy, I actually wanted to introduce one of the most important grammar rules in Ukrainian, since everything pretty much depends on this rule. So we're gonna do number 4 in a second, but I wanted to show it using my materials from presentation. Maybe first, I would just introduce this lady over here, because you will see her pictures in a second on every slide. And she's a very famous Ukrainian artist. She's famous because she's drawing in this childish manner, and during the war, her pictures were sold for millions of dollars on auctions. And that's her name over here. Her name is Maria Primachenko. And the question here is the one you know already. So the question is, what do you do, or what is your job? How do you say that? Yeah, like, what do you do? Кто вы за фахом? And she says that she's an artist. How do you say artist in Ukrainian? Yeah, it's good. Художник. Let's say, я художник. And around you can see her pictures. She also drew on the houses. And the style of her art is called naive art. She was drawing in the 20th century, and she has around 800 paintings altogether, which are the combination of visual and literary folklore. So they tell the stories of people in old times, pretty much. That's one of the pictures. And what's important when we will talk about the grammar soon is for you to know that Ukrainian has consonants and vowels. So in English, vowels are A, E, I, O, U. In Ukrainian, we have quite a lot of vowels. So maybe let's read the vowels and just try to remember that everything else is a consonant. What vowels do we have in Ukrainian? A, E, Y, O, U, Ya. And then we have also semi-vowel, which is U. So it's not a consonant, it's not a vowel, it's somewhere in between. So you might need that over here, because what we will talk about today is the 3 genders of Ukrainian language. So every noun around you, like a table, a bag, a friend, anything around you, has a gender according to Ukrainian language. It's something similar to German language, Russian, or French, if you learn that. In French, for example, they have feminine and masculine genders, but in Ukraine we also have one extra one, which is neuter. So it's it. It's just a grammar term, and the most important thing is just to be able to know which gender it is, looking at the word itself. And I promise you it's quite easy in Ukrainian. It's not as confusing as in German, for example. All you need to remember, there are 3 genders, and maybe you can make some notes now. You can make them on the worksheet I gave you. So Ukrainian has 3 genders of nouns. And there are 3 of them, as I said. So the first one is going to be feminine. And feminine is pretty much she. How do you say she in Ukrainian? Vona. And maybe let's start with it because it's going to be very helpful. So as you can see, if it's feminine, it will end with letters A, Ya, and sometimes soft sign. But if it's a soft sign, it's pretty much an exception. So you need to memorize them. Usually it ends with A and Ya. And as you can see, it's very easy. You just have a word, you look at the last letter. If the last letter is A or Ya, or soft sign sometimes, it immediately means the gender is feminine. Why do you need that? As you have seen before, we have moya and me for my, for example. So it will be different according to the gender. If you want to say my country for a female, it's going to be moya. And maybe, can you try to read this word too? How do you say country? Yeah, that's good. Let's again. Kraina. And it ends with A, so it is a feminine gender. And the second word is a family. How do you say family? Yeah, that's good. Let's say семья. And it ends with ya, so you know automatically it's she. So you will say she is a country in Ukrainian. вона країна. Or you could say this is a country. So you would say це країна. So if it ends with a or ya, and sometimes soft sign, it's always she. It's a gender of the noun, it's she. Then maybe we can move to the neuter. So neuter is it. So how do you say it in Ukrainian? Vono, that's right. So if the word ends with these letters, o or a, and sometimes ya, but it will be an exception. So please just remember o and a. Then it's going to be the neuter. And you've got two examples here. How do you say butter in Ukrainian? Maslo, that's good. So if you want to say this is butter, you can say це масло, or you can say it is butter. How would you say that? Yeah, that's good. This is це масло, or you can say it is butter. Yeah, that's good. Воно масло. And the second one is the sun. How do you say sun in Ukrainian? That's good. Let's say сонце. So the same way, you can say this is the sun. It's going to be, yeah, you can say воно сонце, or you can say це сонце. And I guess that would be the easiest way to remember. So if you see the last letter a or ya, it's feminine gender. If the last letter is o or a, just like here, you see it ends with o and it ends with a. That's how you know it's neuter. And the easiest would be to remember that the rest is masculine, so it's he. How do you say he in Ukrainian? Він, that's right. But if you want to make the proper rule, you just can say it's either a consonant or you. But the easiest for you would be just to remember, if it's a, ya, it's feminine, she. If it's o, a, it's neuter, it. And the rest is he. It's the easiest way for you to remember. So you just need to remember 4 letters. A, ya, o, a. And you have some examples here. So the first is ending with the consonant, which is, what's the word? Yeah, that's good. Let's say хліб. So you could say he is bread, because that's the gender of bread in Ukrainian. How would you say that? Yeah, that's good. Let's say він хліб. And this word is museum. How do you say museum? That's good. Let's say музей. And you could say he is a museum. Yeah, that's good. Він музей, or це музей. Alright, so that's quite an important chunk of information. You've got this note, please just write it down. So, a, ya is going to be feminine, o, a is neuter, and the rest, or you could also say consonants and y, is going to be masculine. And I would just prove that it's not really complicated. You just look at the last letter, that's all you need to do. And I will prove that using the food from Ukraine. What you see here is a very traditional dinner/lunch from Carpathian Mountains. And the top says food from Ukraine. Could you read that? How would you say that? That's very good. Let's say страви з України, which means food from Ukraine. And if I had to introduce Ukrainian food, it's quite a blend of all Slavic cuisines nearby. But there are some tendencies. First of all, we like to add sour cream everywhere. Maybe some of you don't know what the sour cream is. It's just like a yogurt, Greek yogurt, but a bit more sour. So it's not sweet, it's not plain, but it just has this like a bit sour finish to that. And we add sour cream everywhere. You've got dumplings, you have pancakes, you name it. We just put sour cream to every dish. Sometimes people even eat bread with sour cream. We're really into that. And then every single time we start cooking, we usually use these ingredients. So we start with frying onions, carrots, and we always add garlic at the end. So these are like very, very important staple foods in Ukraine. And they're one of the cheapest, so that's the reason why we start every meal with that. And usually they can be fried or boiled at first, but then we usually bake them or stew them. So that's like a very distinctive feature of Ukrainian cuisine. And let's move to grammar now. So we have he, she, and it, and we're talking about gender. We start with this guy over here. What's that? That's good. Let's say borscht. And borscht is the type of soup in Ukraine, the one we love the most, and we're proud of it. But you get to say which gender is it? Is it he, she, or it? Vin. It's good. It ends with a consonant. So it's not aya, it's not oe, it's the consonant, it's the rest. So this is he. And let's say vin. Vin. Okay, let's see the second one. Then there is something that all Ukrainians like to have. That's kind of the pork fat, and sometimes it has more meat, sometimes it has less meat, but you cook it in a very specific way. So it's kind of a fermented fat of the pork, and we like to eat that with bread and onions and maybe some mustard. That's the name of it. What's that? Salo. Yeah, that's good. Let's say salo. Salo. And is it vin, vona, chi, vono? Yeah, that's good. So it ends with O. The last letter is O. That's how you know it's it. So let's say vono. Let's see the next thing. As I said, potatoes are very important. How do you say potato in Ukrainian? Yeah, good job. Let's say kartopля. And it ends with ya. So is it he, she, or it? Yeah, that's good. That's she. So ya is she. Vona. So let's say vona. Then you have something that looks like dumplings. The only difference is that you could put anything inside. So the shape is quite different from Taiwanese dumplings. And then inside we like to put potatoes with mushrooms, cabbage, even cherries or strawberries sometimes. So they can be on the sweet side. It's up to you pretty much. Or meat. And Ukrainian dumplings are called, yeah, that's correct. Let's take them, varenik. And just to make it easier, it ends with k, it's not a, ya, o, e, so which gender is that? Vin, that's good, it's masculine, vin. Then this guy is for Easter, so it's like Easter bread in Ukraine. It usually has raisins inside and it's just nicely decorated normally. That's the name of it. So you have it just once a year on Easter. That's like a religious holiday for Christians. And let's say Pascha. So it ends with a. Is it vin, vona, chi, vono? Yeah, good job. So ends with a. That's how you know it's feminine. It's she. And let's say vona. Vona. This bread you've seen already. It's for the weddings, remember? And the name of it is... Yeah, good job. Let's say korovai. So it's not a, ya, or a. So which gender is it? Vin. That's good. It's he. So let's say vin. Then over here, it's not kasha. It's actually a milk product. I've never seen it in Taiwan, but it's kind of popular in Slavic countries and also Middle East. So how you make it? It's called quark in English. I'll just show it to you. I guess it might be it. So quark, or sometimes they call it cottage cheese, but it's not really cottage cheese. It doesn't have that much saltiness. It's usually quite plain. How to make it? You get the milk bad, so it should be bad expired milk, and then you boil it, and then those little pieces would go up when you boil the milk. So you collect those little pieces on the top of your bad boiled milk and keep it in the right temperature for a day. And then you get this product. It's actually very delicious because you can make the cottage cheese pancakes out of it, and it's one of the best things that Slavic cuisine has. So they're just pancakes that you make with them, and they're really delicious. If you have a chance, you should try it. It's a really nice thing to have for breakfast. Anyways, in English it's called quark, or sometimes people call it cottage cheese, but it's not actually cottage cheese because it's not as salty. But in Ukrainian we call it... Yeah, that's correct. Let's say syr. And so it ends with a consonant. Is it vin, vona, чи vono? Yeah, that's he. Let's say vin. Oh, and that's the pancakes I told you about. And the name of this pancake is... Good job. Let's say syrnik. Ends with the consonant too. So is it vin, vona, чи vono? Good job. Let's say vin. Alright, and the last thing, it's a very old traditional food for Christmas. It's just some grains with dry fruit and honey. It's a very old traditional food that Ukrainians would have as a tradition. And the name of it is... Good job. Let's say kutya. So it ends with ya, and it means the gender is... Yeah, good job. It's she. Vona. That's correct. And no more. So we can go back to your worksheet. Let's just do exactly the same, but in the textbook. Let me open this. So over here, you've got exactly the same rule we just had. And we can take a look. So we start with masculine gender. And over here, you've got this circle being crossed. It just means consonant or no ending. That's what it means. And maybe we can read some examples. So as you can see here, it all ends with the consonant, except for the soft sign. Let's read a few. So we started with number one. How do you say man in Ukrainian? That's good. Let's say человек. The second one is a table. How do you say table? Yeah, let's say steel. And then you have pencil. How do you say pencil in Ukrainian? Okay, let's go. Olivet. Yeah, that's a pencil. And the last one is going to be the name of that guy. His name is Jean. And they are all consonants, that's why it's masculine. The soft sign is more like an exception that you need to remember. But sometimes the masculine can be finished with O letter, but it's also an exception. It ends with O when you know for sure it's a man. So for example, over here you have the word father. You can say batko or you can say tato, right? It ends with O, but you know it's a male, it's a man because it's a father. So even though it ends with O, it's not a neuter, it's masculine because he is a father, you would say, because you know it's a man. The same with this name. The name ends with O, but you know that this is a boy or this is a man. So you would say Vin Petro, which makes sense, right? So if you know it's a man, it's going to be Vin, even though the word ends with O. And the same here. So these are the names for men, but they end with A still. You know he's a boy, so that's why you would say he is Sava, Vin Mikola. Okay, I guess this is quite clear. The most important, you just need to remember, masculine ends with the consonant. The second one is going to be she, so Vona. And just as I said, it usually ends with A or Ya. And let's read some examples. How do you say a woman in Ukrainian? Yeah, good, we'll say Zhinka. The second one is going to be a country, again. How do you say country? Країна. And the last one is the pen. How do you say a pen in Ukrainian? Ручка. That's good. So it all ends with A or Ya. That's how you know it's feminine. That's the main rule. Sometimes you have exceptions. So sometimes it would end with the consonant or soft sign. But you just need to memorize these. So I will not exempt those, but just be aware that sometimes there are some exceptions, just like here. Відповідь, ніч, сіль, піч are exceptions, just some words you need to memorize. And sometimes we have it gender. It gender ends with O and A. Let's read some examples. Let's read these two. How do you say a word in Ukrainian? Yeah, good. Let's say slovo. The second one is number. How do you say a number? Okay, let's say число. And then some words end with a. How do you say a C in Ukrainian? Good. Let's say more. And then you have this thing, the field. How do you say field in Ukrainian? Good, let's say Pola. Alright. And sometimes some words end with Ya, but they are not feminine. You also need to just memorize. There is no other way. There are exceptions. Like Питання, волосся ends with Ya, but sometimes there are some exceptions. For you, for A1 level, there are no exceptions. Please just memorize this part. He is for consonant, she is for Aya, and it is for Oa. Okay, the rest are exceptions, and that's for later. Alright, and let's practice a bit. So to practice, we move down. We go to exercise 9. Okay, so you have Vin, Vona, Vono. And once again, Vin, if it's the consonant. One is Vona, when you have A and Ya, that's correct. And when do you have Vono? O and A. Okay, good job. And let's see, so you get to use the words from here and you need to separate them. So maybe at first, I will give you 3 minutes. Could you just kind of write down maybe 1, 2, and 3 about these words? So for example, sport, ends with the consonant, so you just write down 1, okay? Sumka ends with A, so it's number 2, and just please keep going. It's 3 minutes, and then we check together. Alright, this time everyone gets one word, and I will just pass the microphone. You read the words that you get, and you get to say if it's he, she, or it, okay? And then you pass the microphone back. So everyone gets one word for yourself. And let's start this way. So, can you please read this word? Can you please say it? It's he, she, or it. Yeah, that's good. And can you try to read the word too? Let's go.
Sports.
Yeah, good job, sport. And you're right, it ends with "t", so it's masculine, it's he. That's correct. Could you pass back, please? So you have number 2. What's number 2?
Sonka.
Sumka, that's good.
Ona.
Well, no, it's good. It's she. Okay.
Sister.
Good job. It's a sister.
Mona.
That's good. It's she. Very good. Next is
Paprika.
it's a bit long. Good job, that's good. Ends with also is Mona, good job. It's she. That's right. Then you get the sour cream. How do you say sour cream? Smetana. And it ends with so is it he, she, or it?
She.
She, good job. Thank you. Okay, who's next?
Seven.
So, good job. It ends with the consonant. Is it he, she, or it?
Seven.
He, good job. Consonant, yes. Then you have this word.
Photo.
Good job. Is it he, she, or it?
He.
Oh, look, it ends with all. Every time it ends with all, the last letter is all. So it's going to be.
She.
Okay, can we just do it one more time? Okay, sorry. So in Ukrainian, you have three genders. You have he, she, and it. They are noun genders. Every time you have a word, for example, photo, you just look at the last letter, this letter. You don't care about the rest. You just look at the last letter. And if the last letter is a or ya, you know it's she. If the last letter is o or a, you know it's it. If the last letter is the rest, it's he. So photo ends with o, and this is it, right? Okay, let's do one more. Can you do just one more, please?
Student.
Good job. So look at the last letter. Student. This letter. If it's a, ya, it's she. If it's o, it's it. If it's not a, ya, o, a, it's he. So is it he, she, or it? That's correct, because it's the rest. It's not a, ya, it's not o, a. So it's he. That's right. Could you press it back, please?
Podruha.
Good job. Is it he, she, or it?
She.
Very good.
Studentka.
Good job. Is it he, she, or it?
She.
Very good. So, yeah, right. Is it he, she, or it? He. Good job. Could you pass it, please? Good job. Momo. Is it he, she, or it? It. Good job. This word is for you.
Oh.
Good job. Is it he, she, or it?
He.
Good job. Thank you. The next word is a bit long.
Zupenka.
Good job. Is it he, she, or it?
She.
She. That's good. That's just
Me.
Good job.
Be.
Ian, good job. It's he. Very good.
Mova.
Good job.
Ona.
Mona, good job. It's she.
Zima.
It's a mom.
Zima.
Okay. He, she, or it?
Vona.
Good job. it's she, right? Oh, get it. Yes. All right, and now I just read the words and you tell me він, вона чи воно, окей? Фотограф. Він, good job, друг. Він, місто. Воно, good job, it's it. Вода. Вона, good job, it's she. Вистава. Вона, it's she. And the last one is вікно. Yeah, it's it. So very easy. Just please remember the endings, okay? Last letter of each word. Yeah, it's feminine. Is neuter. It, and the rest. So usually consonants or the self sign is he. So this part is quite easy, but very important. So please remember. Okay, it's over for now. See you in 10 minutes, please.
第四个复训第二个阶段，但第六个复苏这个现在应该可能教我形式吧，不知道我该不该教另一个复苏可以教。
Alright, so let's start with the roll call. The number today is 6213. Шесть, два, один, три. Okay, so the thing is, we were supposed to continue the worksheet, but we'll do it next time. So please make sure you get the stuff during the next class. And what we do now is, actually, we're gonna work on the midterm again. The reason why is, I'm actually a bit shocked that the grades are way lower than I expected, because I thought I would make this text quite easy. But the practice showed that it wasn't that easy for you. So I want to give the second chance for those who want to get a higher score to do a better job, if you would like to. So I'm gonna give your worksheets for you to take a look at them. And every time there is a mistake, I want you to rewrite the test. If you are satisfied with the grade, you can leave pretty much. So that's what we do now. But first, I know there is at least one student who didn't join last class. Who's that? Two, right? Anyone else who didn't come during the last class? Could you raise your hand? Okay. So it's going to be for you, and you have 1 hour to finish, but please do not use any material. For the rest, I'm not supposed to show you grades, I think, but then I don't really know how to do it faster because I didn't separate. Maybe if I just say the number, do you know your numbers? Yeah? So if I say the number, please raise your hands. That's how we would do it, I guess. So the first student is 4100800244. Sorry. No, it's not going to be faster. Or maybe someone can help me read the names. Can you help me? Because I don't read Mandarin. I think that's the fastest. Can someone help you read your names, guys? Thank you. On the top, the student name.
Wang Jiali.
王嘉玲、陈玉兴、廖子尧、 赖家型，林彦成，张子瑜，江永荣，彭博尧，赖怡璇，洪子勋，陈立新，内，梁家荣，陈德佑，吴义瑞，李新元，叶欣彤，康立瑞，
Thank you. Do we have anyone who didn't get the paper yet? Everyone gets it, right? So some of you didn't get a good score, I would say, but for me the most important is that you understand either than the scores. So now you have a chance to actually work on it again and get the higher score. So everyone has a paper, right? A small paper. That's for you to work on, and you can correct your mistakes on this paper now. Is there anyone who doesn't have a paper? Small paper? So I did circle your mistakes on that paper. If your cursive is not good, please write down the cursive, and you can use any materials now. So the most important is just to do it correctly, okay? So number one, it should be cursive. And I'm just afraid some students maybe don't know what cursive is, because some of you just wrote down the phonics, which is not correct. So once again, exercise 1, 2, and 3, you need to write down cursive, okay? And can you spend time doing it now correctly? You can use any materials now. So number 4, oh, and number 1, some of you didn't record the audio. Please do. If you didn't record number 1, please practice and record now, okay? And then you have number 4. If you want to redo something, you can redo that. But I feel like almost everyone did it correctly, so that was okay. And number 5 and 6, you can also redo that. But please make sure you know who these people are, okay? So please now spend some time redoing that, and just make sure you know how to write and you know who these people are. If you're satisfied with your grade, you can just give the paper to me and you can have some free time. If you have any questions, you can ask me now.
There is not much sweating. That's the example.
是不是这样？
每个人闭眼睛在看这个在黑色。
It's not the same thing, you know. They guys are kind of great. Maybe lots of stuff. I don't know. Do you really need that experience? That's kind of traumatizing. Yeah. It's just, you know, they always have those like missiles and like information coming. I feel like it's very traumatizing.